Hello, welcome to this update for the severe weather. So let's see what's happening. These storms are already happening in those areas. So as you can see, northern Mississippi and Tennessee, spots of Arkansas as well. These storms are already happening. So I'm doing this video a little bit late, but in case you're watching this, be careful of those storms that are happening right now. But these storms are like the cause for this enhanced risk spots of the mid south into the southeast, like from Oklahoma, not all the way to Georgia. So let's see. There's this light risk as well from Oklahoma to Virginia, the big marginal and a marginal in the northern plains as well. So the tornado threat is 2% in those areas from Texas to Georgia and the areas in between. There's the wind threat is the greatest for 30% from Oklahoma to Georgia and 5-15% in the other areas. There's hail just 5-15%, especially in those areas of the enhanced risk. So be careful in those areas, but especially damaging winds because this line of storms here can have some big time damaging wind gusts. So be careful in those areas. One or more organized clusters thunderstorms are expected across a corridor from the southeastern Great Plains through parts of the Tennessee Valley, northern Gulf Coast today into tonight, and one of those clusters is already happening, like I showed you there, and potentially producing swaths of damaging wind gusts. So stay safe in those areas. The areas that are ahead of this cluster, they'll still be impacted, and in case there are any more clusters of storms later today. So stay safe, those areas, be careful. And just checking here if there's something that's significant tornado parameter. The hurricane does have a finger or two in Arkansas, to Mississippi, so just be careful there, just in case, because later this evening the hurricane does have slightly higher tornado parameters ahead of that cluster in northern Alabama, Mississippi, and even into this evening. It has very scary, but it has a few spots of higher tornado parameters. So just be careful that tornado threat and stay safe. Stay safe. There's the air traffic list. So let's see, I'll put it until Sunday. So this until Sunday morning shows even spots of Missouri that has some stronger severe storms and into Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Tennessee, those areas. So stay safe, those areas. Be careful, especially the damaging winds, but hail and tornadoes too. Special tornado threat. But tomorrow, I will already warn you, it might be a very dangerous day, especially in terms of damaging winds. So I'll show you first the updraft list. Already shows some big time storms in Oklahoma and to Texas, especially like had some swaths of damaging wind gusts if it forms into a squall line or something, and then shows it going from Oklahoma into northern Texas, potentially even further later. So this what the HER has for now, but this might change. So let's see for day two. We have this big enhanced risk, Texas, Oklahoma, into southern Arkansas and Louisiana, and this light risk around it all the way to Illinois, and slight risk in the east coast, southeast, and this big marginal. So the tornado threat is already 5% in Oklahoma and Texas, so it's already a little bit elevated. So be careful in those areas tomorrow. There's 2% from Oklahoma, from Texas to Illinois, another 2% in the mid-Atlantic. So be careful. Wind is already the greatest threat, 30% hatched for potential some hurricane force winds, and this extends as far west as New Mexico into Oklahoma, Texas, and the 30%, also 15% winds in the southeast. Hail is also hatched for very large hail, those initial storms fires, so please stay safe. And hatched as far north as Missouri, so be careful. Severe thunderstorms most likely across Oklahoma, northern Texas, the Arkansas during the afternoon and evening. On Sunday, a few tornadoes, destructive wind gusts to 80 to 100 mile per hour gusts. So this might be serious. 80 to 100 mile per hour gusts possible, and very large hail possible as well. So please stay safe in those areas. A vertically stacked cyclone will drift southeast in the southern and be northwest on to northern Minnesota vicinity. Early the morning Monday, this attendant surface cold front should arc from the northeast Illinois to Rattle, Massa by 21Z Sunday. Low amplitude upper troughing with multiple embedded MCVs will move east from the eastern Midwest into Tennessee Valley, mid in the mid South Atlantic states by Sunday evening. So this like what's causing this, because there will be that low pressure system in Canada there, those storms, that cyclone that will influence this. So there's this model here that represents very well the rapid refresh. It does show tomorrow evening, Sunday, across Oklahoma, this very dangerous line of storms into Oklahoma and later crossing to Texas. And these have some big time damaging wind gusts, like even to 100 mile per gust, like they mentioned. So a little bit later into the evening shows still crossing to Texas, those damaging wind gusts. And later throughout the night, it starts disorganizing a little, but still very strong storm in the middle of the night into Texas and Arkansas and those areas. So please stay safe in those areas. There's the name too, just to see by curiosity. It does show like uh, by the afternoon starts forming later in the evening those line of storms there. You can see very well here, but let's see if there's like the 3 kilometer one. So shows there, especially it has a little bit further south into Texas, the line of storms. But for example, at 1Z, it has a forming around western Texas and Oklahoma. So stay safe in those areas. Please be careful. There's the HER, so let's see it. It already has the line of storms there that's going on right now in Mississippi and Arkansas. In those areas, it goes and goes into the southeast there. Does show a few other storms possible in Texas this evening, but nothing crazy. A few in Oklahoma. But then this goes. This is tomorrow morning. And then this starts in southern Kansas and Oklahoma, where the activity should start. And then this goes, the herd that doesn't go further out, but already shows this aggressive line of storms taking shape in Oklahoma by the evening tomorrow. So please stay safe in those areas. And one recommendation would be alright to secure light stuff that can fly away in those strong winds, and like secure your home stuff from strong winds in those storms. So be careful those areas and stay safe. And let's just see if he has wingers, but it's too far out still. I don't know if the her goes out that far, but we might make a video tomorrow. So we'll probably have a video tomorrow to talk about this. But already shows in Oklahoma some strong gusts to 70 mile per gust and a few storms to 80 as this starts. And then shows like those times the southeast today and probably the Texas Panhandle, but that line starting in Oklahoma might have some big time wingers. So please stay safe tomorrow. Those areas. There's day 3 for Monday. Still a slight risk in the southeast. So spots of Arkansas, Louisiana, into most of Mississippi and Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and southern North Carolina. There's this marginal from New Mexico to New York. So let's see. There's the 5-15%. Scared severe thunderstorms, primarily from damaging winds, possible Monday into Monday evening across the southeast. So be aware, Monday as well, some damaging winds. And the rest, still nothing. But I do have some fire danger, northern Montana into North Dakota. So be careful, the elevator there. So be aware. And it's already going on, like tornado watch we have in Arkansas, severe thunderstorm watch for those storms there now. So this tornado watch I think might expire soon because the storms are in Mississippi. But check here the link in the description to see the information. So moderate tornadoes, severe wind, moderate chance as well. So it shows the storms in Mississippi there now, the tornado watch there. So who knows? There might be more storms later, but be careful in those areas. So let's see if they say the time here. other watch information. So yeah, be aware those areas. Check the link here. There's the severe thunderstorm watch right where those storms are now as well, especially severe wind, moderate and some severe hail too. So be careful those areas and until 4 p.m. they say here. So yeah, stay safe. The tornado watch, I think so too. So let's see if they say so until noon, yeah, Central Daylight Time. So be careful those areas. Excessive rainfall, still some flash flooding possible across Texas to Georgia, and from Illinois to West Virginia, and from New York to southern Maine. So be careful, and the marginal risks in between. They too still slight from Texas to Arkansas, and the marginal in the semi northeast as well, and kind of the Appalachians, and shows in the southeast the marginal. Day 3 a marginal from Colorado to New York, day 4 marginal from Colorado to Georgia, another one in the northeast, and day 5 a slight in Texas already, and 2 marginals there in the north. So be careful in those areas. Still shows day 1 through 7, possibly more than 7 inches between Oklahoma and Texas. This changes a lot, but this is a possibility. So please be careful. Those areas, day 1 through 5 shows already more than 5 inches, a spot or two. Day 1 through 3 even shows close to 5 inches already next 3 days, even 2 days. So please stay safe today until Monday, especially, but later next week there'll be more storms as well and heavy rain. So please be careful. Some extreme heat risk portions of southern Louisiana to Texas. Stay safe there as well. And that heat building spots to the west to some moderate to major, and the southeast. So Sunday more extreme in Texas, into Louisiana. Be careful. And more major heat risk in Washington, Oregon, into California. Monday more extreme in Texas, even spots of southern Nevada, spots of extreme and major in the west. Tuesday still extreme in Texas. Wednesday gets better later, but still some heat to watch. The show day 3 through 7, the hazardous heat in the red, and the severe weather in heavy rain. So be careful, but the 8 through 14 does show that the long range pattern, a risk of extreme heat in the central plains. So later, like day 8 through 14, we might have more heat danger, the central plains, like close to 100 degrees in a few spots. So be careful in those areas, and some slight risk of high winds in the northwest, day 8 through 14. So be careful, and yeah, so here for some warnings too. Does show already on the west coast some heat advisories in Idaho, Washington, Oregon, into California, and southern Texas too, some heat advisories. So be careful, and there's like the extreme heat watch spots of Washington, Oregon already. So stay safe in those areas. High surf advisories in Hawaii, and the severe thunderstorm warnings watches, and the flood watches in Oklahoma, and the air quality advisories further north in the wildfires. So stay safe in those areas. And here does show like that giant blob of storms in the eastern Pacific trying to form two cyclones at the same time. So here it shows like there are three areas to watch now. This one is still 70 to 80%, might form later this weekend or into early next week. There's this first disturbance already 90%. So recent satellite data suggests the system does not have a well-defined circulation, but environmental conditions are conducive for further development. Tropical depression or storm expect to form during the next day or two. So we might have Barbara soon, and this yellow area is like a potential system that I showed yesterday in the tropical update. So the European and the Canadian and the GFS are showing some potential systems later into next week or the week after. So three areas to watch now. Be aware those areas. Here for the current storms, there's the second invest. Some models already have a tropical storm or category 1 possibly, but most to tropical storm. The GFS does stay far from land, but you pass close by. They're the global plus hurricane models, mainly going out to sea. There's like the the other invest here shows shows weaker, just a tropical storm possibly, but the models are further out to sea as well. So, but better monitor them just in case they do a weird turn. So thus showing central Canada we already have some showers, a storm or two, and some snow in Nunavut. So that shows storms in Ontario Sunday, some rain in Manitoba. Let's hope it helps with the fires. And then this goes Monday, few storms in Ontario still. Possibly Monday to Tuesday, some stronger storms there in Ontario, into Quebec, especially by Tuesday. That shows some Cape there for like severe storms, but not really that much. But like if it gets to 1000 joules per kilogram, it's very good for storms. So be aware of that as well. Then Tuesday, Wednesday into Newfoundland, some more rain. Potentially by the 13th, still some rain across eastern Canada and like some storms northwest and west in a few mountains. And then the show more later. So be aware in those areas. But now, like Sunday, we might have this low pressure system into Newfoundland and St. Pierre Miquelon by Sunday because of those storms coming off of the east coast. So be aware Nova Scotia Sunday morning during the night today and more into Newfoundland, so some strong winds and storms. So stay safe. Might have another round of rain later by Tuesday, Wednesday until like Thursday. So be careful in those areas. There's these strong winds central Canada right now from this low pressure system, that big surface cycle that they mentioned there that will influence the severe storms. So already shows some strong gusts in Alberta, Saskatchewan. So be careful, and even extending down towards Montana, North Dakota. So be careful those winds. That's probably the cause of the elevated fire threat there. So be aware. Then does show stronger winds later this evening, southern Saskatchewan, even to 78 km per gust. Does show later into North Dakota to like 47 mile per gust, some spots to 46, South Dakota more winds too. This goes and slightly dissipates later, but be careful in those areas. But still, by like next Wednesday or something, a few scared spots in the Midwest or in the West, some stronger winds in a few scared spots, but nothing too crazy. But be aware, potentially near the West Coast later into next weekend, but we're still watching. So be careful. There, in Atlantic Canada, does show this low pressure Sunday. This shows more strong winds on the east side, like near St. John's, a few spots central to eastern Newfoundland by, by like Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon. Then this goes away into the North Atlantic, very big low pressure in the North Atlantic. So yeah, but beware. Then the show potential stronger winds next Thursday still in the northern US into Canada. But we'll keep watching that. So be aware those areas bear those stronger winds and some storms in Canada, and like the rain too shows more rain most of eastern Canada, especially in Newfoundland, but in Quebec as well, and more precipitation in northern Canada as well, and that heavy rain like close to 4 or 5 inches in central plains of the US. So be careful, snow does show snow northwestern portion of North America, like into Yukon, spots of Alaska, more snow northern Alaska, southern Alaska in the mountains, northwestern British Columbia in those mountains, some heavier snow spots, and also into Nunavut, some snow, so be careful. Maybe northernmost Quebec and those in the Arctic archipelago. So be aware, the GFS does have some as well. Nunavut does even British Columbia isolated spots in northwestern territories, but the GFS doesn't have anything in the Rockies. The European does have 1 inch or two in Colorado and Utah. The Icon, nothing in the Rockies as well. The Her, nothing. So just the Europeans was like kind of left dating about the snow. But we'll keep watching. The European does have in Wyoming some. So beware, but like even the Her in the same time period, it doesn't have anything. So Probably there won't be, but be aware in those areas. And here does show like in the south those temperatures more than 100 spots of Texas, and into far southern Texas maybe even to 105 or something. So be careful into southern California and Arizona, more than 104, some 90s in the northwest and the southeast. So be careful in those areas. During the night, slightly less in the Rockies, slightly colder in some higher peaks, but still hot in the south. Does show during the day Sundays even to 108 in California, the Death Valley to like 115 or more, and shows spots of Oregon, Washington to like 98, even to 100 in Oregon, a few spots, and some 90s in the south, 102 in Texas, far southern Texas might be to like 106. So be careful in those areas. Shows still kind of colder in Wyoming, Montana during the night, and Oregon, not Oregon, Colorado in the Rockies. But during the day, Monday, still some 90s southeast, and Texas more than 100, 109 potential in California, or even more, and like 102 in Washington. So stay safe in those areas. Be careful, especially like to 110 between California and Arizona, 107. Death Valley, even to like 120 is possible. So stay safe in those areas. Does show this Monday afternoon, even to 103 central Washington. So be careful in those areas. Does show day three as during the night, slightly colder in the mountains, but kind of mild, nothing crazy. But Tuesday afternoon, still more than 107. The southwest, close to 100 in Idaho, Washington still, spots the southeastern 90s. It still shows Wednesday during the night, nothing crazy. Uh, for Wednesday afternoon, shows 207, 106, still in California, Nevada, in Arizona, and close to 90s in the central northern plains area in the southeast. Shows Thursday, Thursday morning, slightly colder in the higher Rockies, but nothing too crazy. Thursday afternoon, the 12th, still more than 100 in the southwest, some scared 90s and 80s, especially some 80s on the eastern portion. Then by June 13th, slightly colder the Cascades, Sierra Nevada, but June 13th during the afternoon, like Friday, shows still close to 103, but slightly less because maybe some low average temperatures coming in after that heat. So be aware, some 90s in the south. So the max wind gusts that show those strong gusts in the north, like I showed you there, 48 hours snow, not even they have anything. So like the European was in another planet. So be aware those areas, and still shows in Canada those warmer temperatures central to eastern Canada, not eastern like the eastern's kind of chilly, but central-ish Canada, slightly colder northwest, but during the night it does dip below negative temperatures in Nunavut and northwestern territories. A few spots warmer further west, but still cold there. The Rockies true and spots of Alaska colder. This goal shows warmer British Columbia Monday because British Columbia is right next to that heat in the northwestern US, so some higher temperatures there too. Then Monday, this goes kind of colder northwestern mountains in Canada, still during the night. Northern Canada, a few spots in the northeast. But this goes does get hotter across Alberta, spots southern Saskatchewan. So be aware, those areas Tuesday, this goes during the night still colder, many parts British Columbia into Yukon. So be aware, Northwestern Territories, spots of Labrador, and colder spots most of Alaska too. So Tuesday, this goes still shows Tuesday afternoon warmer in southern Canada, a few spots. Wednesday, spots there, and then later still warm, but not as much. This like by June 14th shows slightly less warm, and the heat shifts further east. But yeah, be aware in those areas. And southeastern Canada is quite fine as well, slightly milder to colder nights, but warmish during the day in southeastern areas. So be aware, and yeah, so stay safe. still shows those heavy rains Central America. The European still to more than 100 millimeters next 5 days. Western, no, in eastern Nicaragua into central Costa Rica, spots in Panama too. So still be careful, some flooding there. Guatemala still shows more and shows this rain getting dangerously close to Mexico from those systems in the Pacific. More in central Mexico, a few storms northern Mexico, and into Cuba, the Bahamas does show some rainfall activity as well, especially in Cuba and even Puerto Rico and those spots on the GFS. There's the icon, shows relatively calm, but some passing storms a day or two. And BR, especially southern Trinidad and Tobago, in the edge of those storms, the intertropical convergence zone. So be careful, a few showers or storms in the Caribbean. So be aware in those areas, and long range forecast does indicate a lot of rain still, but that's too far. So be aware those areas, stay safe, and don't forget the dust too. Those areas, the air quality, the visibility as well, the good sunsets. So don't forget that as well. And like there's the warnings here. You can see for Canada as well, the air quality, the fires. So stay safe too, and be careful.